Well, hello there and welcome. I'm Colin Daniel. I'm from riffninja.com, and I'm here to give you a little taste of what's in my ultimate blues course. And we're going to talk about chords today. In my ultimate blues course, we cover a lot of chords, over 400. But there's an easy way to cover chords and not having to do a lot of memorization. And one of the things is to learn about a root. The root note is the lowest note in the chord, and it's used as a reference. It's the lowest note in the chord that the other notes revolve around harmony-wise. The root note's like the foundation note. When you build a house, you don't build the frame first. You dig a big hole and you pour a bunch of gravel in it and then pour cement in it. You got to have a foundation to hold the weight of the house up. Well, all the chords are like that. They have a foundation, and that foundation is the root note. If we can use the root note to our advantage, we can certainly learn to rename the chords a lot easier than if we had to try and memorize each position on the guitar. One thing you need to know is you need to know the top notes on your guitar. So if your guitar is tuned to standard, which is what this one's tuned to, my lowest note is a low E. Then my next fret up is going to be an F. That's first fret. Second fret is F sharp or G flat. Third fret is G. Fourth fret is G sharp or A flat. Fifth fret is A. Sixth fret is A sharp or B flat. Seventh fret is B. B to C is a semitone, so you don't have a sharp or flat in between there. That's your C at the 8th fret. C sharp is 9th fret. It can also be called D flat. This is D. This is D sharp, and it can also be called E flat. There's your E. Now what I'm going to do, if you already know these notes, that's great, but for those of you that don't, this will help a bit. Now what I'm going to use is the low note as a reference. I'm going to take, I'm sure you're all familiar with an E major or an E minor chord or an E7th chord. We're going to take the E7th chord. That's my first finger on the 3rd string, 1st fret, and my second finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. And you use all 6 strings. There you go. That's E7th. Now that's an E dominant 7th. It's not a major 7th. It's not a minor 7th. It's E dominant 7th. This is a blues chord. You can also add the pinky on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, which is what I'm doing right now. Very good sounding E7th chord. Now we can take this chord and we can move it up and we can create 12 new chords with it very easily. Here's the deal. Ever heard of transposing? Well, transposing means moving a group of notes. In music anyways, transposing means moving a group of notes equal distance, higher or lower, right? If you were to transport your stuff in a truck, say you rented a big 3-ton truck and your entire collection of belongings was thrown in that truck and you drove it 50 miles, all of your belongings would have been transported or transposed exactly the same distance in that truck. Now we're going to do the same thing with the notes. We're going to take all 6. Now, some students will say, well, we're only playing 2 notes. No. We're playing 6 notes. There's 6 notes in this chord. 6 strings, 6 notes. 1 note for each string. So now when we move this chord up, we're going to raise it. The first thing we need is to free up our 1st finger so we can bar it. So now we're going to play the E7th like this with my 2nd finger and my 3rd finger. Same strings, same frets. We just switch fingers because we're going to move it up. So we're going to move up the 2 fretted strings of the E7th, 1 fret. Now all the open strings that were taken care of by the nut have to be moved up 1 fret. And this is what the bar is for. So if this is E7, then this is F7. And we can add the extra 7th with the pinky on the 2nd string, and now it's 2nd string, 4th fret. That's an F7, dominant 7th, blues 7th chord. We have lots of names for it. The classical term is dominant 7th. Nowadays, most of the time, you'll just see it written as an F7. How do we make this more? There's F sharp 7th or G flat 7th. You see, whatever our natural note is, so wherever we go, like say if we go up the fretboard, like that's an F, that's a G, that's an A, that's a B. If we put our bar down here and play the 7th chord, that's the pitch. Our chord type is 7th, which describes, if you studied about chords, which in my course I go into great detail with that, about how the chords are actually put together, why certain notes work and why certain notes don't, and what notes are good to create chords with. You see, this is a 7th chord. Wherever I move this chord, it's a 7th chord. All I have to do is know the notes on my 6th string, and I can rename this chord. People usually have a mental block with flats and sharps. A B flat 7th is something that comes up quite a bit. Well, if this is B 7th, because I'm at the 7th fret, and my root note is B, and I'm playing the 7th pattern, then this is B flat 7th, right there. So really you have 12 new chords, you know. On my way up I usually use sharps, and my way down I usually use flats. It depends on what key you're in, too. That I also cover in my course in great detail, but for now, if this is F 7th, then this is F sharp 7th or G flat 7th. This is G 7th. This is G sharp 7th or A flat 7th. This is A 7th. This is A sharp 7th or B flat 7th. This is B 7th, all based on the 6th string root, right? This is a C 7th, that's 8th fret bar. This is a D 7th. If this is D 7th, then that's D flat 7th. This is D sharp 7th or E flat 7th, which is another awkward chord. And this is E 7th octave. Very cool, eh? You just learned 12 new chords. Now, if you already know that chord, you might want to apply this with another chord that has root 6. And I mentioned my E major and my E minor. You can do that with those too. There's F major, there's G major, you know, or F minor and G minor. I do cover that in much more detail, and you'll have to check it out. If you're interested, come and check it out at riffninja.com/blueschords. All right, thanks for your time, and I hope you learned something today. See you later.